So I've been in a creative rut, and kind of a life rut if I'm being honest. So every year around the holidays, we close our online shop for 1 to 2 months to give ourselves a break and to prep for the new year. This is going into our 6th year of business, so I do think that we have a pretty good gauge on how to plan for the release of new product collections and other projects that we want to pursue. But regardless, planning for a whole new year does take a lot of time and mental space, and so we do it during a time when the website is closed so we don't have to worry about fulfilling orders. It's also a time that I use to clean up a lot of back-end business stuff that I have been putting off for the entire year, basically. Things like bookkeeping and taxes and organizing system, things like that. So it is really a crucial time for us. But not only that, not just the not fun business stuff, but because of the pace that our business has been growing for the past few years, I often have not had the time or the capacity to make art during the year because we are taking care of the shop. So I also use this time to sketch out new ideas and to note down any projects that I'd like to experiment with. It's important for me to save time to just play creatively and to get re-inspired. But yes, the main point of this break is for it to be a break. Ideally, we'd like to relax, veg out on the couch all day, and just disconnect from all responsibilities. But I'll tell you now that it's not always easy for me to unplug. If you think about it, nearly every day of the year, I am thinking about the business in some way. Like even some of my non-work activities, which are meant to be my hobbies, I find some way to incorporate them into work, which I know is not a good habit. And it's not to say that I have like too much on my plate where I can't stop thinking about work or that I am a workaholic. I think it's genuinely that I love what I do. I enjoy the work that we do. And I know it's gonna sound really cheesy, but I'm very grateful to have a career that is basically built around my personal interests. And even as those interests change, I'm allowed to explore those different things, and I know that that's a huge privilege. But for the sake of my mental health, I am trying to find hobbies that are completely disconnected from work. But I share all of that because at the beginning of this break, I really struggled to relax. I must have anticipated that this was going to be an issue because prior to the break, I tried to keep a list of things that I intended to do during this break in my planner. Yes, some of those things were work-related because there's important stuff that I need to get done. But arguably, the more important things on that list were the list of things that I was dying to do once I had more time. So as the break started and we were going into the first few weeks of December, I was really trying to get into vacation mode, and some days I was going down that list and nothing really spoke to me. Nothing really sparked joy. Nothing was actually of interest to me. And that's when I honestly started to get concerned. And one of the bigger things on the fun side of the list is that I wanted to experiment with doing YouTube videos more. I thought it'd be really fun to just have a creative project to put my energy into as just like as sort of a way to get re-inspired creatively during this time, because that is also a big part of this break. And so as I was looking over those lists of topics and I was trying to come up with video concepts and ideas, it was giving me a lot of stress and anxiety. And then I thought to myself, I thought this was supposed to be fun. Why am I doing this to myself? And then I found myself in a rut again because I thought this was going to be like a new creative hobby that I was going to put my energy into, that was going to be very re-inspiring. And so because I didn't want to stress myself out, I put that back on the back burner, and I just found myself disappointed again in my inability to find something that I would find enjoyable. And then one morning it clicked. And the video you're watching now started to be made. If you follow us on social media, you probably know I love to post a lot of content. I love sharing behind the scenes and vlogs, and I post a lot of videos. And I know that certain social media platforms are allowing longer videos to be posted, but I just feel like I was meant to start a new project somewhere else, here on YouTube. And my desire and interest to make more in-depth, longer videos here on YouTube comes from my inner love for storytelling. And so I realized that this is the story of the reality of how my break is going. So yeah, the first few weeks were really rough, and I really tried to be proactive about it, and I was really trying to be present in my thoughts and emotions and to be very aware of it and to try to have things to cope. I'm still definitely processing a lot, and I'm forever grateful to have this time to spend exploring and experimenting and taking care of myself. And eventually I started to have a lot better days. I found myself less often in that dark headspace, and I found the things that really sparked joy in my days, and I leaned in really hard to those things. I realized with the privilege of time that we have now to really just do whatever the hell we want. In those really rare moments where I felt inspired to do something, I just went ahead and did it, and I think that was probably the most productive thing that I could do. And so I wanted to share some of those things that I did in December so far. I'm going into the new year with my first ever Hobonichi planner, and while I am an analog note taker, I don't actually really consider myself a journal girly. It's more of just a joke. So I know nothing about all the different types of planners that exist and all the different companies, but I am testing out this format to see how it'll do for me, so wish me luck. Johnny and I have also randomly found comfort in Mario Kart 8, which is a game that came with the Switch when we bought it, and we played it for a little while, and now we are absolutely obsessed, and we've decided to nerd out and work on playing competitively. Even though I still play Harvest Moon sometimes, racing is definitely the newest obsession. I am that person that really likes to read, and I buy a lot of books, but I know that I have not read all the ones that I've bought that are currently on my shelf, and so I did start reading Clara and the Sun for the third time, and I finally finished it, and I read it in 2 days. I am also trying to make my way back to ACOTAR after I finished the first book very quickly as well, but I'm also trying to catch up Johnny on what happened in the first book, so we'll see when I get to the second one. I started my artist way journey again after falling off halfway earlier this year, which means I'm also doing mooring pages again regularly, and it's been super helpful, especially with what's been going on. We've also convinced ourselves to upgrading more of our coffee making gear because we enjoy the ritual of making espresso drinks every morning and in the afternoon. I'm secretly scrapbooking more after watching a lot of very talented ASMR artists on YouTube, and I just was so inspired, and I think it's a great way for me to use my extensive sticker and washi tape and stationery collection. It's super fun. I may share it in the future. I want to get a few pages down first, and yeah, it's been really fun. I did also get a couple of new tattoos. I did make an Instagram reel / TikTok, and I always consider getting tattoos self-care, so that was really nice. But yeah, I think that's the most of what I've been up to lately. And I'm really trying to think if there's anything else that I've been doing, but I think that's the bulk of what I've been doing lately. I think self-care can be really confusing and challenging in a lot of ways, especially if you're used to doing things a certain way and then you're caught off guard when it doesn't work anymore. I think life isn't meant to be the same things over and over again, and that's what makes it so exciting and so difficult. I do wonder if you are a fellow creative person or entrepreneur that this experience is relatable to you. This period of kind of disconnecting yourself from your craft and peeling back all of those layers and kind of needing to rediscover yourself again. It's this important experience that we often don't allow ourselves to have or choose to not make time to have because we're so used to being consumed with our work that we just keep going and we don't know how to play or take care of ourselves or to really celebrate all that we've created and accomplished. And to be completely honest, I am still very much working through this. And I don't have any answers or solutions that I can offer that will work for everyone. But having these moments of reflection, it continues to reassure me just how important having this time off is for us in more ways than I could have known. Ooh, what if I light a candle? Everyone's gonna come at me for my bad wick care. Is that nice? Am I blocking it? I sit here? It's kind of nice. Sure, okay, we'll do that.